My name is Rachel Monroe. I am 35 years old. And I want to tell you something that took me a long time to say out loud without the complicated mixture of grief and embarrassment that used to come with it. My parents forgot my birthday every year for 11 consecutive years. Not every birthday of my life. The early ones they remembered. There are photos of birthday cakes and balloons and the particular joy of a child who has been made to feel that the day of her arrival in the world is worth celebrating. But from the year I turned 17 until the year I turned 27, my birthday passed without acknowledgement 11 times. Sometimes a belated text 2 or 3 days later. Sometimes nothing at all. My sister's birthday, she is 18 months younger than me, was never forgotten once. I counted. I am not proud that I counted. But I did. 11 forgotten. 0 forgotten for her. I told myself for 11 years that it did not matter. That I was an adult. That birthdays were for children. That the relationship I had with my parents was about more than one day a year and I should not let one day a year define it. I was wrong about all of that. It was not about the birthday. It was about what the birthday meant. What 11 years of forgetting communicated without ever being said out loud. What I did in year 12, and what happened in that restaurant on a Saturday evening in March, is something my parents have never fully recovered from. Not from damage. From understanding. If you are new here, please subscribe right now and drop your country and local time in the comments. I read every single one. Now let me take you all the way back to the beginning. I grew up in Portland, Oregon. My father was an architect. My mother was an events coordinator, which is one of the specific ironies of this story that I did not fully appreciate until I was older. My mother planned events professionally. She was gifted at remembering the details that made people feel seen. She had a calendar system that was legendary among her clients. She forgot nothing professionally. She forgot my birthday 11 years in a row. My sister's name is Beth. 18 months younger. The kind of person whose energy fills a room immediately, warm, social, magnetic in the effortless way of someone who genuinely enjoys people and whom people genuinely enjoy in return. Beth was not responsible for what my parents did or did not do. I want to be very clear about that. She did not ask for the attention differential. She did not engineer it. She was simply someone who naturally generated a certain response from the people around her, and my parents were not immune to that response. They loved Beth in the specific, slightly helpless way that parents sometimes love a child whose presence is simply irresistible to them. Spontaneously. Abundantly. Without calculation. They loved me differently. Not less, I believe, at the level of whatever is most fundamental. But differently in the ways that are visible. In the ways that show up on calendars and in the amounts written on birthday checks and in the number of times a parent calls in a week unprompted. Beth's birthdays were events. Not always large events, my parents were not extravagant people. But thoughtful, prepared, evidence of attention paid in advance. A dinner reservation at her favorite restaurant. The specific gift she had mentioned wanting 3 months earlier. The birthday call that arrived at the right time because someone had looked at a calendar. Mine arrived, or did not arrive, without that preparation. The first forgotten birthday I attributed to a genuinely busy period. My father had been dealing with a difficult project. The second I absorbed more carefully. By the fifth I had stopped expecting and had built something specific around the not expecting, a kind of protective non-investment in the day that I thought was maturity and was actually something sadder than that. The spending asymmetry I mentioned was real and documentable, and I mention it not to seem petty but because it is part of the full picture. My parents spent, over the years, significantly more on Beth's milestones than on mine. Her college graduation gift was a trip to Europe. Mine was a card and a dinner. Her engagement was celebrated with a party my parents organized and funded. My engagement was celebrated with a dinner at their house where my mother made pasta and my father opened a bottle of wine he described as nice. It was nice pasta. the wine was fine. But I had watched them plan Beth's engagement party for 3 months. I held all of this the way you hold things you have decided not to address, carefully, with the specific muscle tension of something kept at a controlled distance. Then one autumn evening when I was 27, I was at my friend Carla's house for dinner and her phone rang and she glanced at it and said, "Oh, it is my mom, she always calls on my birthday." Carla said it casually. The way you mention things that are simply true and have never required examination. I went home that evening and I sat in my apartment and I let myself feel what I had been not feeling for 11 years. It took a long time. Several hours. A level of ugliness I was not prepared for. Then I made a decision. I was going to plan something for my 28th birthday. I was going to plan it entirely myself. And I was going to invite my parents and my sister, and I was going to see, in the specific clarity of a prepared event, what the day looked like when someone cared about it. That someone was going to be me. I planned for 3 months. A dinner at a restaurant I loved, a small Italian place in Northeast Portland that had been my favorite for years. I made the reservation myself. I chose the menu. I arranged for a small cake with specific flavors I had always loved. I sent the invitations, actual physical invitations, designed and printed, to my parents, my sister, my husband Marcus, who had been quietly furious on my behalf for the 3 years of our marriage during which he had watched my birthday pass unacknowledged, and 6 close friends. I told no one what I was planning beyond the logistics. Come to dinner on Saturday. Dress nicely. 7 o'clock. My parents confirmed. They said they were looking forward to it. I noted that they did not volunteer what they were bringing or doing or planning. They were coming to an event I had organized for myself, on my own birthday, and they were treating it like a dinner invitation. I noted it. I filed it. I kept planning. On the Saturday of my 28th birthday, I arrived at the restaurant an hour early. I had arranged the table carefully. Flowers I had chosen. A small framed photo at each place setting, for my parents and my sister, a photo of the 4 of us from when I was small. For my friends, a photo of moments we had shared. For Marcus, our wedding photo. I had written a card for each person at the table. Personal, specific, the kind of card that shows you have been paying attention to the person you are writing to. My parents' cards took me the longest to write. Not because I did not know what to say, but because I wanted to say the true thing without making the evening something other than what I wanted it to be. I wanted the evening to be a celebration. Mine. By me. Evidence that I could give myself what I had not been given, and that the giving of it did not require anyone else to have done their part first. Guests arrived. Friends first, warm and immediately present in the way of people who have been watching someone they love go unacknowledged for years and are relieved to be there. Marcus arrived and held my hand for a long moment without saying anything. My parents arrived. My father with a card and a small wrapped gift, the first birthday gift he had brought me in 11 years. My mother with flowers. I thanked them. I meant it. Not because the card and flowers erased 11 years. But because I could see that they had tried, and trying, even late, means something. Beth arrived last, slightly breathless, with a gift bag and a hug that lasted longer than usual. She whispered, "I am so happy you did this." I held on to that. Dinner was long and warm and genuinely good. The food was exactly what I had hoped. The conversation moved around the table the way good dinner conversations do, from person to person, topic to topic, without effort. My friends toasted me with the specific generosity of people who know you well and want you to know you are known. Marcus toasted me and said things I will not repeat here because they were for me and I am keeping them. Then I stood up. I had not planned to make a speech. Or rather, I had planned not to plan one, which is different. I had decided that if I had something to say I would say it, and if I did not I would not. I had something to say. I looked at the table. At the friends who had shown up for me year after year in ways large and small. At Marcus. At Beth, who was watching me with an expression of complete attention. At my parents, who were sitting side by side with the careful faces of people who sense that something is about to be said. I said, I want to thank everyone at this table. For being here. For being people who show up. I paused. I planned this dinner myself. 3 months ago I reserved this table and chose this menu and sent these invitations. I did it because I have learned, over many years, that the things that matter to you do not wait for someone else to notice they matter. You have to build them yourself. The table was quiet. I am not saying this to be unkind to anyone, I said. I am saying it because it is true and because the truest thing I can do on my birthday is say true things. I looked at my parents. Mom. Dad. I love you. I have always loved you. And I have spent a long time being someone who did not need very much from you in order to not feel the missing of it. Tonight I wanted you to see what the missing looked like when someone decided to fill it themselves. My mother's eyes were wet. My father was very still. This is what it looks like, I said. It looks like flowers I chose and a cake I ordered and a table I reserved. It looks like 11 years of deciding to be okay. And it also looks like this, 20 people I love in a room that I built because I needed to know I could. I raised my glass. To building what you need, I said. And to the people at every table who showed up to be part of it. Everyone raised their glasses. My mother was crying quietly. Not dramatically. The private crying of someone who has received something they did not know they owed until the moment they heard it named. My father reached across the table and covered my hand with his. He did not say anything. He did not need to. The conversation between my parents and me happened 2 weeks later. Not at the restaurant. At their house, on a Sunday afternoon, just the three of us. My mother spoke first. She said she had been thinking about what I had said for 2 weeks and that she did not have an excuse and she was not going to offer one. She said she was sorry. She said it clearly, without qualification. My father was harder. Not because he did not feel it. Because he is a man who finds the direct expression of these things genuinely difficult and has to work toward it. He worked toward it that Sunday. He said he had not seen it while it was happening and he did not understand why he had not seen it and that not understanding made it harder to apologize for but that he was sorry nonetheless. I told them both the same thing. I do not need the years back. I need you to know what they were. And now you know. My mother asked if I could forgive them. I said, I forgave you a long time ago. That was never the question. The question was whether you would ever understand what there was to forgive. She cried again. I held her hand. My 29th birthday, my parents called me at 8 in the morning. My father's voice. Happy birthday, Rachel. We love you. We are thinking of you today. My mother in the background. All day. We have been thinking of you all day. It was 8 in the morning. The day had just started. They have called every birthday since. Without exception. My 30th, my 31st, my 32nd, my 33rd, my 34th. This year I am 35. They will call. I know this not because I have been waiting and tracking and counting. I know it because it is simply what happens now. The way Carla's mother always called on her birthday. The way some things become true through repetition until they are no longer remarkable but simply expected. I like that. After 11 years of not expecting, I like expecting very much. I think about that Saturday evening in the restaurant sometimes. About the flowers I chose and the table I reserved and the 20 people I loved in a room I built. I think about my mother crying and my father's hand covering mine. I think about Beth whispering, I am so happy you did this, and what it meant to hear that from the person whose birthdays had never been forgotten. She called me the week after the dinner. She said, I did not know. About the years before. I did not know they were not calling. I believed her. Beth is not someone who would have known and said nothing. She is not built that way. I know, I said. I would have called, she said. Every year. If I had known. I know that too, I said. Can I start now? She asked. You can start now, I said. She has called every birthday since. Every single one. Before our parents call, usually, which makes me laugh in a way I cannot entirely explain. It just does. The thing I have carried from that evening, the thing that has stayed with me more than anything else, is not the apology or the dinner or even the speeches. It is the discovery that you do not have to wait. That the celebration you need does not have to arrive from the outside in order to be real. That you can build the table, choose the flowers, write the cards, make the reservation, and stand up in the middle of it and say the true thing, and that the doing of all of that is not a consolation prize for the thing you did not receive. It is its own thing. Complete. Yours. Built by you. For you. And open to everyone willing to show up for it. I built that table once. I have not stopped building since. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had to decide to give yourself something that you had been waiting for someone else to give you? Have you ever built the celebration, planned the thing, made the reservation, because you understood finally that waiting was not going to work? Drop the word table in the comments if this story reached something real in you. And if you are new here, subscribe. Every single day I share a new story about family, about truth, and about the people who stopped waiting and started building. I will see you in the next one. Kayla's Dark Truth.